In the endless fabric of fiction and faith, where imagination meets metaphysical speculation, a question echoes through every plane of existence. Who truly stands as the most powerful being in all of creation? Not just within the borders of one universe or across the boundaries of a multiverse, but above narrative, beyond time, and outside the rules of reality itself. Today, we summon titans that transcend mortal comprehension. The one above all from Marvel Comics, I am rooted in biblical theology, the Beyonder as the embodiment of curiosity and limitless power. The presence from DC's divine spectrum, Lucifer Morningstar, the fallen lightbringer with infinite defiance, and the enigmatic Unwritten Leviathan, the raw force of stories yet to be told. This is no ordinary versus battle. We are not discussing strength, speed, or combat skill. We are delving into existential dominion, into beings who question creation, define reality, and even stand beyond narrative itself. Prepare yourself for a journey through omnipotence, omniscience, and omnipresence. This is the ultimate examination of what it means to be the final authority of everything, the one above all, and I am that I am. Let us begin with Marvel's supreme entity, the one above all, known simply as TOAA. This being is portrayed as the ultimate creator of the Marvel multiverse. Every dimension, every timeline, and every god from the living tribunal to eternity exists because of the one above all. It is not bound by physical laws, narrative progression, or even time. TOAA represents boundless love, boundless will, and infinite understanding. Marvel has kept this character deliberately abstract, depicting it sometimes as Jack Kirby, the creator himself emphasizing its meta-fictional role as the author of all authors. But TOAA does exist in isolation. Parallel to its presence is I am that I am, a divine title given in Abrahamic texts to the God who revealed himself to Moses. This phrase, Eye Asher Eye, translates into an assertion of self-existence. This is the uncaused cause, the necessary being who needs no creator, no origin story. In theological terms, I am that I am is, and just powerful it is the very ground of being, the source from which all existence flows. In fiction, TOAA mirrors I am that I am, functioning as the author of all reality. But when we ask who wins between them, we are stepping into deeper philosophical waters. If TOAA is a fictional reflection of a theological truth, does it match its source? Can something created within narrative fully represent what exists beyond narrative? The answer may be that both entities are conceptual mirrors, one for comics, one for belief. In a literal sense, I am that I am may transcend even TOAA, because it is not constrained by publication, continuity, or artistic limitation. It is referenced in DC as the presence, and in Marvel as the being TOAA draws inspiration from. The question isn't just who is more powerful, but who is more essential. The presence and Lucifer Morningstar. From the mythic corridors of DC Comics, the presence stands tall as the ultimate force. Creator of the DC multiverse, it is said to be omnipotent, omniscient, and omnipresent. Every god, every dimension, every entity from the monitor to the endless exists because the presence willed it. Much like TOAA, the presence occasionally steps back from direct interference, allowing creation to unfold through agents like the Spectre or Michael Demirgo's. But within this narrative, DC offers a unique angle. Lucifer Morningstar, the Lightbringer. Born from the presence, Lucifer is not merely an angelic figure. He is a metaphor for free will. He rebels not out of hatred, but out of a desire to create something of his own, a universe unshaped by another's will. In Neil Gaiman's and Mike Carey's work, Lucifer displays near omnipotence. He shapes universes, challenges the divine, and questions fate itself. However, despite his power, Lucifer acknowledges a limit. He cannot defy what he has already chosen. His decisions bind him. He is self-restrained. He is freedom incarnate, yet tethered to the logic of that freedom. In this, Lucifer becomes one of the most compelling figures in all of fiction. Not because he is the strongest, but because he is the most aware of strength's limits. The presence in Lucifer mirror the dynamic of parent and child, law and rebellion, eternity and choice. While Lucifer Morningstar is immensely powerful, he exists within the framework set by the presence. And as such, the presence's authorship remains absolute, at least within DC. The Beyonder and the Leviathan, if TOAA is Marvel, as God, then the Beyonder is its most intriguing enigma. Introduced during the Secret Wars saga, the Beyonder existed outside of the Marvel multiverse, a being who saw the universe as a speck unworthy of comprehension. At his peak, he wielded power far beyond the living tribunal, manipulating reality, thought, and time with trivial effort. But despite this unimaginable might, the Beyonder S story was that of curiosity, wanting to understand desire, limitation, and identity. Eventually, Marvel retconned the Beyonder, demoting him to a being shaped by the Beyond realm, making him a creation of the multiverse rather than its superior. Still, his original incarnation stood as a near-omnipotent force capable of unmaking gods with a thought. And then, there is the Unwritten Leviathan, a concept from metafiction, born not in the panels of a mainstream comic but in the narrative void. The Unwritten Leviathan is the power of unwritten stories, the embodiment of every narrative that could be told but hasn't been. It is chaos, potential, and undefined omnipotence. It exists only when imagined, but once imagined, it becomes real. Unlike TOAA or the Presence, the Leviathan has no face, no form, and no intent. It is power before purpose, possibility without direction. It could be anything, but chooses to be nothing. That is both its strength and its curse. For a being to truly act, it must enter a story, and by doing so, it becomes limited. The Leviathan threatens all creation, but it also needs a creator to define it. In a battle of raw potential, it is a shadow looming over the known. Yet, potential without form is still just theory. In a fight against fully formed, conscious, purposeful beings like TOAA or the Presence, the Leviathan loses clarity. It might be the ultimate what if, but the cosmos bends to what is. The final verdict, who truly wins? Now we stand at the edge of all existence. These beings converge, some formed by stories, some forming stories. Some are defined by rebellion, others by authorship. Who wins in a war where thought is weapon, reality is battlefield, and existence itself is fluid? Let's weigh them again. The Beyonder, for all his power, is a created being. His strength is vast, but originated from a plane still governed by someone else, by TOAA. Lucifer Morningstar, while immeasurable in intellect and might, is still a child of the Prince. His power is self-contained, his will is unbreakable, but he is still a being within a narrative. The Unwritten Leviathan might be more than narrative, but it is also less. Without definition, it remains potential. And potential alone cannot act. It waits for someone to write it into being. That someone, then, is more powerful. Which brings us to the final two, the one above all and I am that I am. At this point, the distinction grows almost meaningless. The one above all is Marvel's representation of the unnameable, infinite force. And I am that I am is that concept's ultimate source, the uncaused cause, the being beyond all being. In fiction, the one above all stands supreme. But fiction itself is limited. The concept of I am that I am encompasses not only all fictional creators, but also the idea of creation itself. If TOAA is the author of Marvel, I am that I am is the idea that authorship is even possible. So, who wins? The answer is both humbling and profound. I am that I am is the only being in this lineup that does not need to be written, imagined, or drawn. It exists as existence itself. Everything else, the Presence, TOAA, Beyonder, Lucifer, and the Leviathan are expressions of it. They may reflect its power, question its laws, or even attempt to surpass it, but none of them are truly independent of the idea of necessary existence. And so, the final result is this. I am that I am stands alone, eternal, self-existent, supreme. The victory belongs not to the one who commands creation, but to the one who defines what creation is. Check out my other videos for more epic character crossovers and battles. Thanks for watching, and stay happy and healthy.